sure you're curious about this project and how it works and what we are doing and planning. Actually, let me give you like a very short history. 2011, I was actually teaching in the United States at a school, and I was just coming here for holidays to Germany in summer, and then I was inspired by a movement that you could see in the US coming very strong, especially because of the economic difficult situation, and people were doing everything themselves. They were growing their own food, they were starting maker movements, they were producing their own products, they're using 3D printing technology and computer programs to design their own products and produce them themselves at home, or crowdsource that with some other people. And that spirit of do-it-yourself and making it yourself, not waiting for the institutions, not waiting for anyone in the government to help you to get out of your economic crisis, that is what inspired me originally to start and write the idea for this project, for the Sustainability Maker. Because basically Sustainability Maker starts with the assumption that we all, the crowd, the people, can do a lot to solve sustainability problems. We don't have to wait for organizations, we don't have to wait for governments, we don't have to wait for the big companies. We can actually do a lot ourselves. And so I wanted to explore that theme, like use all this crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, open source, open innovation, open design stuff, and combine it into one project which shall explore if that is something that works out for us to create radical sustainability innovation. And here we are, almost 2 years later. We can do this project, we can launch it, we can present it to you. We are working on it already for a year because we had to prepare all the technical details and all the software programming and everything. So now I'm actually very happy that I can present to you where we are now and how we're going to proceed with this project and invite you all to get involved. So just a couple of figures. Our budget is something like 1.2 million euros. 50% of that comes from the LIFE program. Thank you very much. 50% we have to fund ourselves, so we have a big own contribution in this project as well, which is good because that encourages us to be very efficient with the money and everything that we spend. We started in June 2012. We will run this project until May 2015, and it's originally tackles all of Europe, so it's a European project with a lot of different European partners from different European countries. But as it is true for an open innovation platform like that, it basically can be used by everybody around the world. So we are not unhappy if people from India and Brazil and Australia joining us and helping us to make this project great. So yes, please do so. So you have met the team already. We have 5 core organizations. The core team is econcept. Well, my agency, econcept, we're the manager of the project. Then we have those guys who already have introduced them, like econcept. Ecosense for media and communication does a lot of the design, a lot of the corporate identity, a lot of the communication. Calypsonet is actually responsible for the programming of the website, and they are our crowdfunding experts and crowdsourcing experts. Forum is mainly responsible for monitoring, evaluation, and taking care that our technology works with people, the social use of technology. And Politecnico Milano is our university partner and also responsible for running challenges. So we have a nice core team, but on top of that, we have a great network already, including something like 50,000 people in Europe and our international advisory board. So we have universities that are involved in Denmark, in Hungary, in Poland, in Germany, and in Italy. We have companies who already said, yes, we want to work with you, we want to formulate challenges. We have NGOs, non-profit organizations who also want to collaborate with us. And we have invited other networks like DESIS Network, Ezio Manzini, like Lens Network, Carlo Vezzoli, like these other O2 networks that can help us to spread the word and to get people engaged and involved in the project. Okay. So the results of our projects, can you still see that? The sun is shining? Hey, the sun is shining, that's great. But now it's maybe, okay. The results of the project are actually, the website, the innonatives.com website, which is the platform that we are going to use to create all this great projects and a mobile application. We will have conventions like this one, 3 during the project duration. We'll have the network, which we have set up already. And one of the core things that we are going to do is run challenges, run innovation projects. And so these projects are actually organized by us initially, but we foresee that during the time of the project, a lot of more challenges and innovation projects are going to happen because everybody can join us and everybody can propose projects and problems that the platform should tackle. So we are open to a lot more than those 8 challenges that we are going to organize. Financing instrument. Crowdfunding is a new financing instrument. We're going to use that. But on top of that, we're planning to invest every bit of income that the platform might generate back into projects. So we will have a fund that is called the Sustainable Innovation or Sustainability Maker Fund, and that is also there to fund implementation of projects. Yes, and finally, that's what we really hope for, Ms. Garvoni. I think we will hopefully manage to create direct progress in the state of the environment also through this project, although it's a little bit like big and tackles a lot of different problems. But at the end, we evaluate thoroughly if we move something like some systems, some companies, some products, some infrastructure towards being more sustainable in environmental or social terms. So we will be critical about that. All right. Now, well, this is a monster. Can you see it? No, we can't. This is the only window that has no blinds. And we were not expecting the sun to be shining today. I hope you can still see it. It will be more clear in the next slide. So this is an angler. Yeah. This is an anglerfish. You know the anglerfish? It's a fish from the deep sea that has this little thing here that glows in the dark. So it's a very innovative fish because with that mechanism, he's actually attracting his prey. So the little fish are coming and want to know what's glowing, and then he eats them. Okay, so we thought that fish is really innovative, so we use it as our logo for the innonative platform, which is a fish that's made up of 2 speech bubbles, like the chat bubbles, and has the angle that glows in the dark. So it's like our logo. And this is one of the first designs of the website where we said, okay, that is our logo, that's the branding, that's the name, that's the anglerfish. So Agim and his team worked a lot on the design for the platform. Now, the starting point is problems. Our starting point is we are not sustainable. And we have already heard from Chris a lot of issues that are not sustainable at the moment: climate change, biodiversity, water, food, and so on. So our idea is that these huge problems that are so big that no one can solve them alone, there's no one solution to solve these kind of big, wicked, fuzzy problems. So what we want to do is break them down into smaller pieces, make them tangible, and make people team up and work together to get to solutions that are going towards solving the bigger problems. So yes, climate change, we see that. Resource scarcity, I think I can go very quick because Chris has already introduced all of that. Water scarcity, social problems like the Millennium Development Goals are not going to be reached very soon. We don't know if we go there at all. Global imbalance between people in developing and so-called developed countries, unsustainability of resource consumption. Let me ask you one question. I think there are probably a lot of designers in this room. What do you think, how much of the stuff that we design and sell is still in use after 6 months? How much of the stuff in percentage? You know it already. So it is actually 1%. I mean, believe it or not, of everything that we dig out of the earth, produce, make into materials, make into products, only 1% is left in use after 6 months. Everything else is going waste, right? And I think that's just a disaster. And other countries like India, for instance, are much more intelligent in reusing everything again and again and again and again. Western lifestyle. Okay, I think I do that very quickly. So to summarize, actually at the moment we're trashing the planet, we're trashing the people, and we're not even having fun. So that's not very sustainable. I think we really have to change that. So the maker movement, I talked about that already. What is it? We have these elements that I think are very interesting. Open innovation, crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, do-it-yourself, social innovation, socialpreneurism, that people start companies because they want to do something good and not because they want to earn profit. And all of these people that are starting these new activities can actually be our members, our team members, to create something that is much bigger than just like a business or a product, something that really starts with the initial motivation of being sustainable and not being just a little bit less bad. And that's what we want to encourage with our website. I'm sure you have heard about open innovation. The definition comes from a guy called Chesbrough in 2006, and I read it to you. The actual definition of open innovation is the use of purposive inflows and outflows of knowledge to accelerate internal innovation and expand the markets for external use of innovation, respectively. So originally, open innovation is done by companies. It has been defined as a company activity, as a corporate activity. Now we want to take it out of that realm because we think it's not only companies that do open innovation. I think we all can do open innovation, and then the crowd comes into the play because innovation can be a crowd-led activity, and the crowd, again, is a group of people that are kind of like-minded, that are interested in working together and creating innovations. So in our case, what we hope for is, if you have heard of wicked problems, Horst Rittel, we try to take away the wickedness of those wicked problems by doing crowd and open source innovation. And so just a couple of things, I don't want to read them all to you, but the problem with wickedness of problems is that they're very complex, they're very difficult to understand, they're even difficult to define, they involve a lot of different stakeholders, and they never work together and agree on something. So these problems, there is no one solution for a wicked problem. It's more like you have to define a lot of different diverse solutions, maybe in different countries, maybe in different geographic regions, maybe in different climates, and so on and so on. So it's very, very difficult to deal with these wicked problems with regular innovation activities, with regular design activities. So what we propose is, what we propose is, by using a crowd-based innovation process that is open, where the crowd starts with a definition of a problem. So already the definition is sourced by a lot of different stakeholders that might be in one community, might be in one geographic region, might be international. And so that definition problem gets much more interesting because the definition can come from a lot of different stakeholders. Actually, they can agree on the definition of the problem in the first place. And then the involvement of multi-stakeholder groups with different perspectives all over the world can actually open up to much more radical ideas and radical solutions, or a lot of diverse solutions. So we can actually try to deal with the wickedness in a way of involving a lot of more people, having the stakeholders discussing things, having radical new ideas and solutions. And on top of that, those solutions can be tried and tested by a small group of people in a niche, and then can be upscaled later on. So it's much more, let's say, experimental, which means it takes away that risk of, okay, now if I implement that solution as a company, I will fail and then I will be bankrupt. So we can be a little bit more experimental with what we're doing. Finally, what we do is we take the consumer needs in the focus of our innovation activity. We start with a need, we start with something that people want to have and to solve. Like a community in Africa, we will talk about that later, needs some idea on how to deal better with water or how to deal better with energy. We start with the problem and the need, not with a company that wants to sell something to a market. And by doing that, I think we have a paradigm shift in the innovation activity, because then our innovation will be dealing with the needs of the people rather than a company that wants to make profit. Okay. The power of the crowd is obvious in these kind of situations. You know, with a few people in the Middle East and Facebook and internet and social media, they can start a revolution. It's also already happening here, flash mobs and carrot mobs. You know the mobs. So people get together, they agree on doing something together, and because they are a larger number of people, they have a lot of power in the marketplace, or they have a lot of attention in the public space. Of course, you can do totally stupid things with that. So what we want to do is do some reasonable stuff with it. And I think the critical mass is actually one. One person starts something, gets more people together, and starts a revolution. It is possible nowadays by using enabling technology like internet and social media to do that, which was very difficult back 10 years ago maybe. And I think we use that methodology to create this innovation activity. And finally, make it fun. For us, it's very important that this is not such a heavy activity. I mean, sustainability is so difficult. The problems are so heavy. No, we want to have fun. We include element of gaming in our platform as well. It can also be like a little bit like, yes, I want to get to the next level. I want to be the best innovator. You know, gamification, gaming elements. And you get rewards, and you get buttons, and you be encouraged to stay with us and work with us over the long period of time. And you have fun by working together with other people all over the world, right? Get inspired. Okay. I have to watch the time. 6 minutes to go? Okay. So how does it work? Very simple. Like open innovation systems work, we have the platform. Then we have people who are actually seekers, who have problems and would like to have more solutions. And then we have people who are actually the solvers, who have very creative ideas and would like to contribute solutions. Now, this role can totally change. Sometimes you are a seeker, sometimes you are a solver. So you can have different roles on that open innovation platform. And then we will run challenges. But it's only one element that the platform can do. Run challenges. Challenges can be open or they can be closed. Open means copy open, copy left. Everybody can use a challenge. Or close means we have intellectual property right protection. Both is possible over our platform. An open challenge works like, okay, there is a seeker, or there are a couple of seekers. They have a lot of problems they would like the platform to work on. Now, we do crowd voting. That means the whole crowd, actually the platform and its members, vote on which problems they would like to solve. Not every problem can be worked on, only the most meaningful and the interesting problems. Then we have a challenge, which is a defined problem so that it can be a design briefing for people to develop ideas. Then we do crowdsourcing, meaning a lot of people get together and hopefully create a lot of different solutions answering that specific problem or this challenge. And then from here, we will have evaluation, again by crowd voting, so the crowd votes on which are the best solutions, but also by an expert panel and a thorough sustainability evaluation. So one contribution of our project is thoroughly, with the tools, evaluate the sustainability of each solution. And then at the end, we find the best solution. And then we can either go for crowdfunding on our platform, so you can create the funds by the crowd to implement your solution, or we also have a store in case you have the funds already to produce that specific product or whatever. You go to our store and then you can sell it. And finally, we do implement the best solutions, and we hopefully create a lot of success stories, which again will go out online so people can learn from the stories, and they will be good examples for the next innovation projects. That's like a typical open challenge. Now, important is that you don't always have to run through this process. So if you have a great idea already, you can come in here. You can say, hey, this is my idea. I would like to do crowdfunding. Or if you have something that is already realized, it's sustainable and you think it's great, you can already go to the store. You can say, okay, no, I would like to sell my sustainable product already over the store. So it's like a modular system, and you can come in at every step more or less on the way. This is how a typical closed challenge works. We foresee that companies can have an intellectual property protection motivation. So if they are the seekers and they would like to sell the solutions or do something with the solutions later on, which should be exclusively related to them, then our platform will enable the seekers and the solvers to get into a contract where it's very clear and very transparent who gets what out of the process. So maybe they pay license fees, maybe they pay a fee for the development of solutions. So that will be defined at the beginning of the process, and people can be very clear and very sure about, okay, if I go into that space, which is a closed innovation space, I will also get some rewards out of it. I will get paid for what I'm doing and things like that. That's very important because the element of trust in a system like that is very essential. It has to be clear and transparent. What are your duties? What are your obligations? And what do you get out of those challenges? What kind of challenges we work on can be very, very different. From very simple things like I need a new sustainable use for a specific material, I need a new technology for my production process, like for instance, water-free dyeing for textiles, can be energy efficiency in buildings, cities. We heard that buildings are very, very unsustainable at the moment. We need to work on those. Can be looking into mobility systems, like starting car sharing systems in specific regions. Go to food security, how we produce the food, like regional food production. Developing country aspects, we will talk about that later when Carlo and Elisa present their challenges, to really like more bigger ideas on great new business models for great new sustainability services or whatever. So it's a wide range. At the moment, we are not sure if all of that is going to work on our platform, if people are wanting to make these kind of challenges happen, but we can experiment for the next 2 years. We can see what works, what doesn't, and then we can refine our system at the end so that it really is something that works over the long run in the future. I think that was my last slide, almost, yes, conclusion. I like the fish. What we see, what we saw, it's a swarm technology. It's swarm intelligence. Okay, a lot of diverse and very interesting new business models are happening already. The movements is there, they're happening here and there, and they are really interesting, have really interesting potential. So people, especially in economic crisis, think more about doing things themselves and creating some community-based activities rather than waiting for companies and doing like the mainstream capitalistic system. So at the end, I think these kind of new movements can be supported and can be amplified and can be helped and actually maybe created by a platform that we set up. And we hope that it will be successful and creates like a movement to combine a lot of people internationally to work together and create these kind of sustainability radical new solutions. So please feel invited, join us. It's open to everybody, especially experts like you guys. We would love to have you on our system, and you can register, I think, probably tomorrow. Thank you very much.